Hey, what's going on? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton, and now we're going to talk about Vineyard Acres, hole 6, which is a par 4 located in tour number 8. I won't spend a lot of time on this one because this is a pretty straightforward hole. I'll just show you one pitfall to avoid, and I'll show you what I think is the best way to approach this hole. If you want to know about how I go about tour 8 overall, strategy-wise, please check out the description below and you can find a link to my Tour 8 strategy video. If you're not a subscriber already, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button if you like my content. And let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. Now, notice here I have a red X. This is like the fairway here on the left-hand side, which requires you to use curl on your ball to get there, or a whole lot of side spin, depending on what kind of wind you get. I never go left, never. Now you can, whatever is most fun to you, play the game how you feel, but it is a drive that is obviously more difficult than just going straight. It's not a difficult drive, but it is more difficult than just playing this hole straight up. If you hit a great shot, or if you misjudge your shot and mispull your rings, you could end up in the rough or in the sand. By approaching the hole straight up, you're more than likely always going to land onto the fairway, unless you hit just a really nasty great shot or you just misadjust your shot. So therefore, I don't ever recommend taking a risk drive when you don't need to. Landing on that spot of the fairway where the red X is not going to give you an advantage to win the hole. It's not going to make dropping this eagle any easier. This is a hard hole to eagle, and more than likely you should be heading to a shootout on this hole pretty much every time that you play it, as long as you play it right, okay? So we are going to count on our opponents to make mistakes. So here we go. We have a player using a money ball, and this is a nice ball. This is a wind resistance 5 with a power 2 ball. With getting a little bit of headwind, this is the correct ball to use if an opponent wants to play with a money ball. But you can see here they hit a perfect drive, and they land on the fairway. All right, so that's a nice drive from our opponent. That's great. It brings us to our shot. Our shot here, we're playing with a navigator like I always do. And if you want to know why, again, you can check out that video in the description below. But again, I'm just playing this hole straight up. That's it. I always use a little bit of right curl because it does seem that this fairway slopes a little bit to the left. So using that right curl helps fight against that. Now let's take a look at our opponent's second shot here. Okay, they're using a Goliath. And typically, if you land on that part of the fairway, you will be using a long iron. And I prefer using a sniper over a long iron at any time. Better ball guy line, more accurate. Now this person is adjusting their rings and their shot. They hit a slight great left shot. And look where it puts them. Puts them in the rough, which should really never happen on a short par 4. And if you were to be attacking the hole this way, you get a more straight up approach to the pin. Because you can see here on my shot, take a look at my rings. Look at this. I have 2 3/4 of a ring of great proof. Okay, so like if you don't know what I mean by that, so look at this. So 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings. And right here, I'm just up on that rough line. That gives me 2 3/4 of a ring of air to hit a great shot. So even if I were to hit a slight great left shot like our opponent, I would definitely not get stuck in the rough, okay? When you take the shot that our opponent did, look what they have to do in order to get centered up on the hole to try to get this shot lined up. Look how close you have to play to the rough line. Not even 1 ring of great proof air. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't take into play or into account when they play. But regardless, I play the drive and I play this shot at 10% elevation. The reason this is a difficult hole to eagle is because you're never really at minimum distance of your sniper. You're never truly at mid distance of your sniper. You're always somewhere like in between. And at that point, it just comes to a guessing game on how to pull exactly 100% accurate. So that brings us into this replay. Again, 10% elevation on the drive, and I always play the right-hand side. Let me just kind of fast forward through this. You can see I'm using that right curl again. I think that's very important on this hole to note. And we land in the middle of the fairway. Now we have another opponent here. Same driver, different ball, more side spin, same power. This opponent is going to try to take advantage of the wind because the wind is blowing in the favor that you would want to go to that side. This is another great ball to the left. And this time they roll too far into the rough. Now clearly, we would rather be taking a look at my shot with the sniper trying to drop this for an eagle than taking a shot like that from the rough. To where depending on shot number 2, if you get headwind, you're going to be fine. You'll still make it on the green. But if he gets a nasty, if you get tailwind, you'll make it on the green. But if he gets a nasty headwind and he has to go into overpower from the rough, there's a good chance he's going to mess up shot number 2, go from the rough to the sand up there or rough to rough. Again, that's just unnecessary. So here's a much higher wind angle. Like I said, 10% elevation. Always playing the right-hand side. A little bit of curl. And we land nicely up there. All right. That brings us into our opponent shot here, using the katana, using that side spin. Trying to get over that fairway, and that opponent gets stuck in the rough. Now overall, they used a big topper. That just wasn't an effective drive at all. It really wasn't the right way to play it. But you can see here shot number 2 for me. Right at the pin, and again, kind of look at my target there. I think that's what's most important in this video. Look how much room I have for a great shot. I mean, I would have to just totally bomb the shot to mess this up. So I guess that's the point of this whole hole. If you just play it like I do, like you're always going to be going to a shootout, and every once in a while you're going to drop that eagle. Now you can see this is the same opponent here. Because they're in that part of the rough, and they are getting, they're getting tailwind. They have to go to an overpowered shot, and they couldn't even make it onto the fairway from there. So, if you think about that, if the opponent would have just followed my lead and played this hole straight up, right now we'd be heading to a shootout. But instead, I'm picking up a win. So that's what I mean when I say we're going to count on our opponent to make mistakes in order for us to win this hole in regulation. All right, so I'll just show you a couple more drives, and then I'll show you a couple more shots to pin, and we'll be done with this one. I know people sometimes they just like to see almost every wind angle, and I try to do that. But you can just see how nicely this hole plays. Right here, I didn't even use any curl at all. And we roll up very nicely onto the fairway. You don't want to use a lot of top spin. You don't want to use a lot of overpower. You just want to just land right there. You can see here, this is pretty nasty wind, 8.5 miles per hour with a slight headwind. But this is a very easy drive. Even hit a great left there. And we're still okay on the fairway. That's why I really like to approach the hole this way. Here's one of the worst wind scenarios you can get. Over 9 miles an hour of headwind. But you can see here, I leave plenty of room to make sure that I can pull my rings accurate. There's that little bit of curl again. And we ride up onto the fairway. So like headwind on this hole is not going to matter. You would never need to swap out a ball. You can easily play this as a power 1 ball and navigator every single time and be making it to the green in 2 with no issues. Here's a very high wind. But I guess, I'm just kind of showing you these second shots so you can kind of see how the ball bounces on the green, how everything reacts, and you see just how much room that we have to give ourselves if we don't hit a perfect ball. Like, you just really cannot mess up this approach by going straight at the hole and at the pin. I haven't dropped this hole in a while. in one-on-one tour play. But you'll see here, we're always really close. We're flirting with the hole every single time. Like, we're almost there. But this pretty much concludes, this video here. If you're looking for more Tour 8 help, you can always click on my channel, go to the playlist, and everything is there neatly organized. I appreciate you watching. Best of luck. Thank you.